Hi everyone, I've got a book to share with you today. This book um, is one that I bought because of a little workshop that I did. It was during lockdown actually, so it was quite some time ago. And the workshop was with Robert Dutton. And I'm just going to lose me and show you. Let's just make this a bit bigger. This is the result of the workshop that I did, and this was using Inktense blocks and pencils, and even shavings off of the pencils and the blocks. Um, and yeah, it was such fun to do, and yeah, it, at the beginning really of me, or part of the beginning, together with some other influences like Anne Blockley and Jane Betteridge and some others, that have meant that I much prefer going a little bit more loose than anything else. So the book is called The Innovative Artist, Drawing Dramatic Landscapes, and it says new ideas and innovative techniques using mixed media. It's published by Search Press, and The Innovative Artist is a series of books providing a unique insight into the methods and materials used by leading contemporary artists who are pushing the boundaries of their art through numerous examples of the author's work alongside practical demonstrations. Each book provides a fascinating exploration of the artist's creative process that will inspire the reader to move forward on their own artistic journey. And this is the inside cover. Wonderful. So this was published in 2021, so it's fairly new. Let's have a look what we have in the contents. We've got an introduction, materials and tools. Then we've got a section on expressive drawing. We've got a section on developing your personal language and a section on towards abstraction. So just look at the mark making and the texture that's in this. This is the stormy East Coast, apparently. So in the introduction, maybe it will tell us a little bit about the artist, maybe not. Apparently he calls himself an experimental artist, and he's particularly focused on new approaches to drawing. Being introduced to new creative drawing media helps to keep his work fresh. The aim has always been to create drawings that achieve impact through their character, meaning, and expression. In his former capacity, he was a graphic designer, which meant that he was constrained to a set brief budget timescale that was not always possible. So now that he's no longer bound by those constraints, he says, I am at liberty to create what I want through the discipline and focus fostered by my commercial career, and remain positive and evident influences on my work today. So, texture, line, shape and form have their place in his compositions. And he also aims for spontaneity in the use of his tools. This one's called Weathered Landscape. So moving on to our materials and tools. I mean, that just, yeah, just the use of the monochrome and the different values and tones there is just stunning. Spring light, and it does jump off the page as showing that light. So he talks a little bit about some papers that we might want to use: cartridge paper, watercolor paper, pastel papers. Then some he calls them preparatory auxiliaries. Okay, but we're talking about gesso, Murano glass ground, pastel primer, and he says there are a lot of others like sand fix, for example. Then graphite tools. So he's got graphite pencils, carbon pencils, water-soluble graphite pencils, graphite sticks, graphite blocks, a pure graphite block, blending stumps or tortillons, blending sponges, a sharpening block, this one here, graphite powder and palette knives. And then he breaks them down even further here for us to have a look at. My choice: graphite sticks are made in different forms. I use chunky hexagonal graphite sticks. They're easy to hold like the Lyra ones, and they can be used on their side as well. The edge can be swept across a drawing, so they seem to be his choice. Together with, look, we've got the XL graphite blocks, the Inktense ones there, liquid graphite, water pots, brushes, palettes. So everything is listed here. Graphite powder. Then we've got additional things like erasers, a knife or sharpening block, blending stumps, palette knives, printmaker's roller, toothbrush, water pots, brushes, masking tape, and an aerosol fixative to protect the work. Then he goes on to all the charcoal options that we might have, and he's listed them all down here as well, and some other charcoal materials, additional things that we might need when working with charcoal. Then we've got paints and inks, and these are all listed and labelled on the photograph, and a little bit about all of those. Then it breaks down the pastels, different types of pastels, and the supporting materials that you might need for those. And then we're moving on to expressive drawing, the importance of drawing. He says drawing is fundamental to any creative process. And I think he's right, but I think that we can also draw with our fingers. We can draw with watercolor paint and a brush. We don't necessarily have to draw with a pencil, for example. Then we've got the exhilaration of the summits and working on plein air. This is in the Lake District. Some first steps: mapping out the marks, and then final stages in the studio. Top tips for drawing success. We've got those here. Oh, now that is called winter light, very different from the spring light. Drawing with graphite. I mean, these are just so expressive. There's so much writing here. I can't really read it all, but it talks about blending the graphite, using it on top of gesso and other primers, I suppose we'd call them, mark making, and all the different types of marks that we can make, positive and negative drawing. Then we're moving on to graphite powder. So, you know, if you've got any of these materials and you've not used them, then this book is going to be really good at helping you work out how you actually use these things, so that you can then incorporate them into your work. This is water-soluble coloured graphite. So this is like the Inktense XL blocks. And that is stunning again. Rocks, Wind and Waves. Derwent XL graphite charcoal blocks on a hot pressed surface. Hot pressed watercolour. Then we've got landscapes, laying down the foundations. We've got misty autumn evening. So this is one that you can follow along with, and then adding in the details. So that's rather nice. We've got the old hawthorn tree shown in different stages. And oh, look at that. I'm really into all this mark making at the moment. Drawing with charcoal. Afternoon shadow through Rydal Woods in Cumbria. There we go. Look, we've got demonstrations on everything here. Mark making with charcoal pencils and sticks. Using pastels. So I think if you're someone that is really into your mixed media, then this could well be a book that you would find, lost a page, interesting. We've got a section on developing your personal language. Photography. He says, while my preference is for the direct experience of working outside, I've always considered photography an art form in its own right. I have great admiration for many skillful photographers of all genres, and I'm a keen photographer myself. Photography is another valid way of connecting with the landscape. Order from chaos. Expressive drawing with liquid graphite and pastels. I mean, it's just, you don't really know where to look almost, do you? Because it's just absolutely wonderful. I'm quite liking the monochrome or very subdued, limited palettes that he's using. So this is another one where you can see, follow along at different stages. Then we've got fast foundations, expressive drawing with liquid graphite and ink. Wonderful. And there's the finished picture. Gosh. Autumn sunlight and passing showers. Look at that. These are all broken down, lots of them, into different stages. Proper preparation. The process of creating art is 10% application, 90% preparation. Okay. Maybe I'm not there yet then. Yes, I don't know that I do a great deal of preparation always. I think I'm a little bit more intuitive rather than let's plan it all out. But in some instance, I mean, when you're doing something as complex as that, I can see why. Scoring, scumbling, media in harmony. Trust the process. Yes. Ashness Bridge, Borrowdale Lake District. Wonderful. Freedom of ink. Wow. How it starts out. And there he is, proudly holding the final picture, which is, yes, is this. No wonder he's got a big smile on his face. Calculated risks, the influence of inks, mixed media and pastel paper. So you can see that we've got, you know, sections that have been blown up for us to see exactly what that technique was. That's a really interesting brush. Look how long that is. Oh, it's a stylus with the charcoal. Well, I never. Oh. I mean, they really are beautiful. But then again, so lucky to have the kind of landscape to be able to do this. I need to find what my landscape around me is going to inspire me. Those of you that know, I'm in Norfolk. Norfolk and Suffolk in the UK are particularly flat, very rural. We have big skies, and yeah, it's just that the big skies aren't the things that interest me. So I'm going to have to find something, I think. Look at that. Whoa. That's Rydal Woods again. A little bit about next steps. And there we are. So there we have the innovative artist drawing dramatic landscapes by Robert Dunn. And for those of you that really like mixed media, and in particular, you know, are into your charcoal and liquid charcoal and some of those things, then I think this book could be of great interest. Okay, thanks for watching.